The one whom you seek will never return. It is time you accept this.
Today we're talking about Bruno, which some say you shouldn't do. Now Bruno, aka Zacharias, has come and gone throughout the story, and then he was gone for good, or so we thought. I don't know if they're gonna elaborate further, but it does seem like this Bruno from another world is aware that our Bruno is dead. Maybe they'll do something with this in the book 6 Tempest Trials, but I don't have high hopes for that. Anyway, Bruno is our inaugural Grand Hero Battle unit to kick off Gen 10 base stat totals with this CYL units. From day one, Bruno has been a blue Mage Cavalier, though they keep mentioning how he taught Sharena how to fight with a spear. Let's see if that leads anywhere. For stats, Bruno has 40 HP, 45 attack, 48 speed, 22 defense, and 30 res. Bruno has amazing offensive stats plus a speed super boom. He's only 1 point behind the new Sharena for attack and speed, so very good start so far. Bruno will release with the third iteration of his unique tome. Cryptic Vow Scalp is a 14 might weapon. At start of either phase, if above 25% HP, Bruno grants plus 6 attack and speed, anathema, and a free follow-up status to himself and allies within 2 spaces. This is a slang tome, and if above 25% health, Bruno gets plus 6 attack and speed with a bonus equal to 20% speed at start of combat. Bruno will deal true damage equal to 20% speed in combat, and he can make a follow-up attack before the foe can counter. If the foe initiates combat, Bruno will get to attack before the enemy's first attack. The Grand Hero Battle units are starting off strong for Gen 10. Bruno provides attack, speed, anathema, and follow-up support. Anathema alone is just a -4 debuff for speed, defense, and res on foes within 3 spaces of the unit. It's a hold type debuff, and it's alright, but it's a lot better when you can stack it. It's a solid status for tank formations since enemies will enter the 3 space range of your allies. It will be tougher to use against ranged attackers though. For his actual combat, Bruno is going the glass cannon full attack and speed route. His buffs attack and speed, gets more attack and speed based on his flat speed, and will get true damage based on in-combat speed. Bruno gets the rare free-to-play slang, and to top it off, he has brought along his Vantage ability. Unlike older versions, Bruno has upgraded Vantage by pairing it with dual phase Desperation. We do not see this effect a lot, but basically when Vantage triggers, Bruno can attack twice in a row with Desperation. The old Winter duo Mars Refine used this strategy, and it's quite nasty if you're not prepared. Of course, Bruno has Desperation for the player phase as well. He's got no defensive perks, so Bruno is going for the 2-shot before he gets hit back on both phases. To assist in this endeavor, the free follow-up status is going to cancel out one follow-up deny effect. It's sort of like having offense in a follow-up, but Bruno technically can still be stopped if the enemy has defense in a follow-up plus a follow-up denial. Important to understand is that everything in Bruno's weapon is tied to staying above 25% HP. This means you can't Vantage against AoE specials, which is one of their weaknesses, and you can't go for a low HP setup to say activate Wings of Mercy or something. To be fair, if Bruno gets touched, he's probably dead anyway, but the AoE matchups or splash damage setups can be an issue. The rest of Bruno's base kit is interesting. On one hand, you got the launch day Dragon Fang and Poison Strike setup. On the other hand, you got Red Feud. Feud skills are insanely rare, so it's a real surprise to see it on Heroic Rail unit. Against red foes, you inflict -4 to all stats, and you disable all other drive type support aura effects. When you fight other colored foes, you would only disable the skills of red enemies with drive type buffs. For example, if you fight someone with the new Brave Violet nearby, Red Feud will disable Violet's +5 stats, debuff neutralization, and 7 HP on hit healing. Feud is a great effect, but it does not do anything against status effects. Using Violet as an example again, Feud won't stop his Professor's Guidance or no follow-up statuses. The statuses are already on the ally, so Feud can't disable it. It might not be the best skill for all matchups, but Red Feud is cool to see. With Brave Balder going hard into the weapon triangle effects, this is another option you can use for specific color counters. If you plan to merge up Bruno, the neutral nature will give +1 HP, attack, and speed. That is just fine, but you could also go for extra speed with the super boon, or more attack will be nice since Bruno's kinda going all in on offense. For free-to-play comparisons, we surprisingly do not get a lot of free-to-play Mage Cavaliers. I don't want to point any fingers, but a certain someone might be the reason for that. In terms of offensive stats, Bruno is so far ahead of his sister Valentine's Veronica that it kinda hurts to see. Almost a full 10 attack and speed above her, and that's gonna happen when you have a 5-generation gap. With Dragon Flowers, Veronica will catch up, but Bruno is still top dog for the non-5-star Blue Mage Cavaliers. The 3 other heroes in this class are all year 1 units, and while Resplendent stats will catch them up in BST, Bruno is just optimized being released 8 years later. He quite literally has been playing the long game. If you want your mages to tank some hits, Ursula, Lara Show, and the Reinhardt can be better suited. If you just want pure damage and speed, then Bruno is just the clear winner. For his playstyle, Bruno will buff up his team and he can initiate with Desperation plus his true damage. The free fall can get passive fall denial, and Bruno will hit twice in a row if not stopped or outsped. For the enemy phase, any ranged attackers are going to get vantaged, and Desperation allows Bruno to attack twice in a row again. Hopefully the enemy dies because Bruno doesn't really have a backup plan. It is funny that in this short period we have 3 different types of glass cannon mage calves. Tea-Time Veronica just tries to brute force fights with up to 80% damage reduction. Brave Sharena is counting on Miracle to survive. Bruno is using Desperation and Vantage to try and kill the enemy before they hit him. The main obstacle for Bruno is going to be Hardy Bearing. It negates Desperation and Vantage, so that's not good. For a general budget build, you just want any attack and speed boosters that work on either phase. Attack and speed catch or solo can work, but life and death can technically contribute a little extra attack and speed in combat thanks to Bruno's tome. For specials, since he has Slang, Bruno actually can trigger the 2 cooldown specials on his second Desperation hit, assuming no guard of course. You can also run Heavy Blade to trigger 3 cooldown specials. For the beat slot, we only have low speed and defense, but Bruno does want to win his speed battles. The free follow-up is nice, but if other speed units have no follow-up, it's not gonna matter. Bruno needs to outspeed naturally for those. For the seed slot, Red Feud is fine to keep, but you could also use Res Smoke. Bruno initiates, debuffs the enemy's res, then just vantages them on the enemy phase. In a similar manner, you could use Savage Blow. In regards to Bruno's support, he buffs attack and speed, so you could try and buff defensive res with a Link buff or maybe Wave buffs. Fortified Cavalry can work for the old school Horus Emblem vibes. Now since Bruno also shares Anathema, he can try to set up near his team to stack the debuff. Defensive res buffs don't really help Bruno, so you could try to go for Snag to debuff the enemy. Wait for the enemy phase to just Vantage cheese the ranged attackers. With premium skills, Bruno still plays the same, we just add a lot more firepower. If you can find a Brave Attack support, that would really up his potential. For an easy skill inheritance package, Brave Sharena's kit fits Bruno just fine. Magic Light is a Luna special with DR Piercing. Bruno will need cooldown perks to proc it in 2 hits, but it's nice to have. For the A slot, Attack and Speed Aria grants 7 attack and speed on either phase, and you can get a bonus based on your special cooldown count. With the 2 cooldown Magic Light, Bruno will get +9 attack and speed. In addition, special activations get extra true damage. Magic Light will get 10 true damage as a bonus. For the B skill, Speed and Res Shackle is a debuffing skill. Each turn it inflicts Speed and Res Shackle statuses. These statuses inflict in-combat Speed and Res debuffs. If you can get 4 negative statuses, you can get -8 Speed and Res max. Since Shackle inflicts 2 statuses, it guarantees -6 Speed and Res already. Now, you do want to find some extra penalties because with 4 negative statuses, Shackle also grants 15 true damage per hit. Very nice for Bruno's pure offensive focus. To inherit these skills, you just need Attack and Speed Bond 3 from Kent, Summer Lincia, or Bridal Louise. You then need Chill Speed 1 or Chill's Res 1, as well as the Luna special. With just that, you can inherit Sharena's 3 skills all in one go. The main issue with Sharena's setup is kind of a lack of Kanto. You can use Far Trace Echo or Emblem Sigurd. For C skills, Red Feud can be replaced with things like Fatal Smoke for another counter skill. Bruno can also just try to set up smoke debuffs. For another playstyle, you could try to focus on support more while still being an enemy phase threat. Bruno can run close counter, though we don't have the crazy close counter skills around. Salvo can grant attack on both phases, but it also comes with recoil damage that will eventually deactivate Bruno's tome. With CC, the general idea is just to hunker down with allies and abuse Anathema stacking. Bruno can set up with skills like Detect, Bruise, Snag, Joint Drives, or even Insight Home. I know that's a bit of a waste, but Insight Home does grant the Incited status, and it gives extra attack and speed besides the field buffs. I would say it's probably still better than, say, Joint Drive Attack. Unfortunately, Bruno would have been an amazing user of Silence Ward, but since Micaiah hates horses, he can't use it. If you got an ally with Silence Ward though, Nelsie Disrupt will negate sweep effects so Bruno can vanish the enemy. The -1 instant cooldown will be nice to go with his slang. For other skills, Bruno can use Verge of Death to negate panic and debuffs at start of turn. He can use Flared Sparrow and Occultist's Strike as a combo, but both of those skills are player phase only. Low speed and res is okay. Far Trace can be used in the B slot, and Resonance can give DR Piercing plus true damage. Bruno may want to stack more HP and might want a healing ally for that though. If you want to go extra premium, Far Resound is just Far Trace 4 plus Resonance. For attuned skills, Low Echo is fine. Bruno does just want to get as many stat advantages as he can. For specials, Bruno can use Glimmer or Astra if you have a lot of attack buffs plus res debuffs. The Aria plus Shaco build kind of does this. If you want to be extra annoying, you could drop the damage specials and try to charge up Miracle. If the enemy doesn't have guard or tempo and Bruno gets his 2 hits off with Heavy Blade, he will charge Slaying Miracle before the enemy gets to attack. With Excel type Flat Dare on some tanks, it might not be a bad idea to just use pure basic attack damage. If Bruno can survive with Miracle, then he could screw up the enemy even if he fails to get the KO. Now, there is an issue with this, and that is Bruno's entire weapon deactivates when he's on 1 HP. He can't function like the new Shirena, and when the next turn starts, Bruno won't even give out his buffs. Miracle can be funny / annoying, but definitely don't expect Bruno to be chaining fights back to back. In conclusion, should you 5-star Bruno? If you like Mage Cavaliers and you want a free-to-play merge project, then Bruno will be an excellent choice. His attack and speed are top tier even among 5-star units, and Cryptic Velasquez is a pretty solid unique weapon. Vantage cheesing is so dirty, and Bruno adds Desperation to get a 2-tap before the foe can fight back. It's almost like having Brave hits. With Sling, True Damage, Anathema, and the Free Follow-up, Bruno gets a lot of tools for this playstyle. He even gives +6 attack and speed to his team, which anyone can use. Generally speaking, we do not get a lot of free-to-play Mage Cavaliers. In the last 4 years, we only got Grim Robin, so yeah. As you saw with the Blue Mage Cav comparisons, the class type is very small. For just pure damage and speed, Bruno can't be beat. It might not be that important, but Bruno having Red Feud is a nice bonus. Feud is a good effect, it's just super hard to find. While status stacking is definitely more of an issue these days, Feud can shut down a lot of things too. Brave Balder is a pretty funny example of a unit who could use Red Feud if you really hate certain red matchups. All in all, it's nice to get a playable Bruno that uses his OG form, whose playstyle is not really fancy, but the dual phase Desperation effect is rare even after all these years. Combine with Vantage and you just get a funny playstyle. It's been years and I still hate losing to all those Vantage Takumis and Hectors from back in year 1. It's not a fun way to lose. That's all I have to say about Bruno. I do plan to +10 him eventually, and I got myself an extra Shirena to fodder. So far he's been pretty fun to mess around with. The amount of things he just kills with Vantage is kinda hilarious. Thank you for watching. Go and beat Bruno's Grand Hero Battle Map and enjoy the Sea Whale celebration. I will see you in the next video.